Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I'm Sohaila Bana, Chair of West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council, and it's our quarterly meeting. We have some exciting presentations today. Thank you so much for being on time and respecting everyone else's time. We have some quick announcements. Tom, are you here to get us started, please? Okay. Tom Bartonek from Brentwood, who is about to start a new Fire Safe Council and would be a good opportunity for him to meet
Hi,
others.
there
Here
we
we go.
go. So, yeah, my name is Tom Bartunik. I currently live in Trilogy in Brentwood. Previous to this, I was on the board of the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council, and I also worked as a member of my local Georgetown Divide Fire Safe Council. So I did lots of things setting up Firewise communities. I also did lots of looks at people's property. So I know that Contra Costa is going to do a pilot program, so I'm going to get our community involved in that. But anyway, we're right now a fire safe work group. We're looking to become our own fire safe council in Brentwood.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have a quick announcement. I am a member of a working group initiated by Senator Tim Grayson. They're not as a council member, but the chair of West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council. One of the things that came out of it was a proposal to allow fire chiefs to announce imminent danger and have the schools closed without losing the funding. I'll share a support letter with you along with the link of the recording later on. If you could support it, that'd be great. With that, we go to presentations, and we have an exciting presentation from EBMUD. I would like to say that I really appreciate their sharing data. They have shared the data about fire hydrants, water pressure before, and today we're going to hear about water flow. So please, EBMUD team, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. My name is Victor De Los, and I work at the Engineering and Construction Department at EBMUD. I am a senior civil engineer leading the Engineering Systems Work Group. Here I have my team, Nick Reisberg and Rachel Wong. And to be able to create this app, it was a team effort, right? So we have Dave Renstrom and also Mike Ringel as part of the team. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think I have to send a request, but looks like you enabled it already. So Eva, thank you.
You have the permission to share.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
All right, just to confirm, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so today I'm happy to go over with you how to access the fire hydrant flow test dashboard, which displays flow pressure information about our hydrants. All right, so to access the fire hydrant flow test dashboard, you can follow along if you want. So please go to eastbaymud.com. And once you're at the eastbaymud.com webpage, you can type hydrant flow test in the search bar.
I'm sorry, I don't see URL there. Am I supposed to say URL?
No, but I can send the instructions later, right?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you go to eastbaymud.com on your search bar, once you access the page, you can type hydrant flow test in the search bar. And then what you see is the search results, right? You find the hydrants page, click on the hydrants page, and then this will take you to our informational page before you access the application. Then you click on the hydrant flow test data map button at the lower end of the screen. And before I show you the live app, right, I want to give you a general sense of direction and how we designed this application. So the application is composed of three main panels, right? On the left-hand side of the screen, you see the map panel. At the top of the screen, you have the filters panel. And on the right-hand side, you have the results panel. You can access the hydrant flow test information in 3 simple steps, right? Step 1, you pan around the map and then use selection tools to select your hydrants. Once you select the hydrants, then your information about the hydrant, general information about the hydrant is displayed on their step 2. If a hydrant has a flow test information available, you should see that at that record. If there is no hydrant information flow test, then it will also display that as well. And once you select the record from that second step, detailed information about the fire flow test information is displayed below. Let me switch screens so you can see the live app. So now you no longer see the screenshot of the application, but the live app. And, you know, as I mentioned before, first step is you pan around your area of interest. So in this case, I'll zoom into Richmond. I use the selection tools. In this case, I'll use a lasso, draw an extent. And under step 2, I see a lot of records, right? Some records have a fire flow test data available, and other records do have fire flow test. So once I click on a record that has a fire flow test, detailed information about that fire flow test is displayed below, right? You have the hydrant number, the last time the hydrant was tested, static pressure, residual pressure, and observed flow. Now, let me clear the results and show you a legend, right? So there's a hidden panel on the application. So once you unhide the panel, you have instructions on how to run step 1, 2, and 3. But there's also a legend, right? So you have hydrants that are in service, hydrants that are out of service. The hydrants that are in service, there are 2 options: flow test versus no flow test. And the same is true for hydrants that are out of service. Now let's run a quick filter. As you remember, on the top of the screen, right, we have the filter functionality. So I can filter hydrants by city, say Richmond. So Richmond has, 2.7 or about 2,700 hydrants, no hydrants out of service. And then I can also filter out hydrants that have a flow test. Filter out, create my extent. And display information just like I did before. And I thought there was a question. Let me check the chat. No, it looks like there are no questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask along, or if you want to see, otherwise I'll keep on going.
Yeah, Victor, I have one question. If we could slip over to the east a little bit toward Richmond Heights, to the right side of your map. There you go. East Richmond Heights. And there are some streets back there, selfishly mine. There's Arlington Boulevard. And then I noticed that it stops up my street. There's no hydrants indicated on my street.
On this area?
To the right,
To the
East
right.
Richmond Heights, to the right of the EBMUD.
Yeah. There you go. There's Wildcat Creek, but there's Park Avenue goes back in there, but
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but I have to stop questions at this point. We're very short in time. Keep going, Victor.
I'm just telling you, I want to know what the
Yeah.
coverage is, so otherwise this is a
We can
Yeah.
we have a short time for discussion afterwards, and then we can continue by email. But
Right,
please
It's
tell
not
us how it
gonna
works
work.
first.
It's not going to work.
Perfect. So generally, depending on your filters, right? You might be filtering out some of the hydrants, but the hydrants that you see in this application display the flow,
That was
additional
wrong.
flow test data.
Oh, geez.
Display
Sorry
the flow
about that.
test data. Now, you can see also hydrants that are in service or out of service. Hydrants out of service can be out of service for different reasons, right? Sometimes hydrants get hit, or there are pipeline replacement projects that temporarily take the hydrants out of service to be relocated somewhere else. Any other questions before I move on with wrapping up the presentation?
So where do we see the flow data? I didn't get that.
Let me show you again. So I'm in Richmond. I selected stint.
Mm-hmm.
I have under step 2, I have hydrant information. There's a hydrant in service that has fire flow test data available, and the detailed information is displayed under step 3 down below.
So where is the flow number?
Observed
Oh,
flow is
1300.
1300 GPS.
Thank you. Chief Osorio, go ahead, please.
I had a quick question about flow testing of the hydrants. Do you flow test the same hydrants every year? Do you rotate that? If you rotate it, how do you select which hydrants you rotate? And do you have a rough percentage system-wide, how many you test a year?
Unknown caller.
I can defer this question to Dave Burnstrom.
Yes, so we don't have an active flow testing program right now. We do minimal flow testing for some capital projects and as needed, but there's not a consistent flow testing program. But we do encourage the fire agencies if they're able to conduct flow tests.
And how much does a flow test cost again?
We would do it ourselves.
Oh, okay. So can residents ask for it in the high fire area, or you decide which ones? Saving you questions from residents later on.
No, we're not taking requests for flow testing from residents.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Victor? Okay, thank you very much, Victor. Please provide information and I'll share it with the email that I sent to the group. And Stu, sorry, send your question about lack of fire hydrants on your street, and I'm sure EBMUD will get to that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So with that, I'm gonna ask Richard Diaz from Office of Emergency Services, who is going to organize an evacuation drill in the large area of 94803 zip code, basically, plus a portion of San Pablo, city of San Pablo. Richard, please, and may I ask everyone to please include your agencies next to your name, and if you may, please put your information in the chat for the sake of future collaboration between agencies, and also if residents have questions for you. Thank you very much. Richard, please.
Thank you, Sahila. Good morning, everyone. Richard Diaz, City of Richmond, Office of Emergency Services. I am the Emergency Services Manager. Happy to be here. So I'm here just to communicate, confirm that the City of Richmond is working. We'll be planning a community evacuation exercise focused on wildfire. And this is all being done in the spirit of Wildfire Preparedness Month coming up in May. The date for this exercise is scheduled for Saturday, May 23rd. I will share my screen just to help guide some discussions here. We are doing this in close coordination with the West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council. Give me a second here. This is a very draft flyer, which we're still in the making, but trying to really make it to capture our city residents mainly. Encouragement. This is something that we normally want to do with several of our neighborhoods, considering the some challenges in terms of egress and ingress, especially with hazards like these. So we're targeting again, as a city side of things, we're targeting our communities along the El Bronte Valley. So that includes communities like May Valley, Greenbrier, Carriage Hills, North and South, etc. So mainly those that are along San Pablo Dam Road and Castro Ranch Road corridor. Now, obviously, we talk about evacuation, and you guys are very well aware of our city jurisdiction delineation. During an evacuation, things will eventually bleed into unincorporated area. So this evacuation drill also opens it up for partner planning with counting other partners. So for us to really make this something much more realistic, we will need then additional partnership with county officials. But for now, and my focus is within city limits, and again in discussions and planning sessions, we'll be enlarging and incorporating all of these partners. And I'm happy to see that some of you are here. For instance, East Bay Mud, East Bay Regional Parks. Would love to bring you on board these planning sessions, just to see how that conversation looks like. If you have not taken part in an evacuation drill of this sort, just give you a brief. There has to be an element of surprise, so to speak. We need to let people know, what to do, but also what not to expect. We have to remember that when you evacuate, it is not a comfortable thing. So it'll be based on an alert, which will be the same case in real life. You will get an alert prompting you to evacuate. This will be done by the actual authority that does that. In this case, the community warning system team. We're partnering with them, and they'll be walking us through the planning sessions to see how we will do that and make that a success. It will be obviously offered to the residents, encourages them to take part in this session. So the alert will be issued. There will be a direction given to them, all within a testing environment. I remember, we're not going to tell them ahead of time exactly what to do, where to go. We're going to test stuff. Obviously, with the planning team, we're going to be in the know of more details. But that's how it's going to roll out. That direction, that order of evacuation, will ask them to move to a specific location, and that's where residents will be expected to go. And this could be, we're still looking for locations. This could be a parking lot that we're talking about, could be a school grounds, etc. The whole point is for residents to, number one, experience what that looks like, understand that, alerts can come at any time. We're giving them a window of when to expect it, not exactly when. Follow that prompt, get to where you need to go, but also it'll be a self-assessment of, do I know where to go if I need to be told to leave at any given time? So that, circles back to our key messages when it comes to evacuation preparedness is, do you have a location in mind already outside the city? Can you quickly, if there is an availability, can you quickly get yourself in a hotel? So there's a lot of components, but the key message is think ahead of time. Where are you going to go? If you're able, if you have a vehicle, etc., and you go back and all these things, that's what we're going to test. On the internal side, obviously, we have several capabilities to test. Obviously, the alert and warning aspect of things. Are our residents registered? Are they getting it? For us, there will be a response coordination that will be carried out with fire, law enforcement, and other partners. How's that communication going? especially on scene. So it's several aspects that get tested during an exercise environment, and we're actually going to implement this on here. So what you see, I'm sorry, did I ever share my screen? Okay.
We see one
Okay,
flyer,
okay,
yes.
thank you. So again, this is a very draft. You might see something completely different. We're still working. We're building our core planning team. Obviously, as I mentioned, for us, if councils one, fire from my end, from the city side, public works, RPD, and we're extending with CWS, even including private sector companies, nonprofits, et cetera. So working with a core planning team, and then eventually gathering more and more as we get closer. The key thing, again, is to make it happen, give people the opportunity to test this urgent need based on a realistic situation, but also see how things go. At the end of the day, as you see here, we're trying to set aside a time of between 9 to 12 noon. For those that have the time that day, we'll eventually offer them some space for resources, some tabling and things like that, just for people to really become engaged, have the opportunity to register if they haven't, ask questions, etc. So really just trying to make a day in May, which is again Wildfire Prevention Day or month, to really understand and get that awareness. As you see here at the bottom, we're going to assess response coordination, test alert and warning, identify coordination needs, and lastly, enhance public awareness. There's still a lot of folks that need to get that sense of urgency when it comes to an evacuation. Another thing I was going to mention is good things that we have things in place in partnership with federal government. By that I mean National Weather Service. Red flag days. Those are triggers. Those things help. Keep people on their feet in terms of what possibly expect or to do. Sometimes there might not be a red flag situation, or might be delay or something that happens even much more faster. So it's just, again, trying to get people into that motion and mindset of, it's time to go, you have to leave, that type of situation. And we'll see how fast people take, the situations along those roads that will be delineated as part of evacuation ways, etc. So that's what we're planning for. We're expecting this to be, something very insightful, informative, and ultimately fun for the community. And yeah, stay tuned. So if you want to be, for those of you who are here who would like to take part in our core planning team, please reach out and we'll get you on board with a schedule. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard. I really appreciate it. As you heard, Richard is going to reach out to some of your agencies, and we at the West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council are going to reach out to some other agencies or businesses actually requesting donations as we are raising funds to organize it the best we can. Any questions for Richard? Marilyn? Please.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I
had
missed.
to unmute. I just have a quick question in that, I have a concern also about earthquake response issues, and we will have fires after earthquake in our area. And so I just have a question. Are you thinking of discussing that at least as part of an education component?
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. That brings me back during COVID. Those are concurrent hazards, one happening alongside the next or alongside another one. That's something we could definitely talk about. It's good to know what else could happen in between.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, the priority is envisioning something just occurring
for wildfire.
Something occurring just in wildfire. But yes, it's that extra question of, what if this is all, done with something else? What is this in the middle of a protest? Things like that. It'll be good to include. So yeah, we can see how that gets communicated out and for education purposes.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. Really appreciate it. Very exciting. With that, I would like to ask our County Fire Marshal, Chris Bachman, to start talking about LandFire maps, which I just learned about and found it a good opportunity for collaboration between government agencies, insurance companies, nonprofits like us, and residents. Please.
Thank you. My name is Chris Bachman, Fire Marshal, Assistant Chief, Contrast County Fire. So what I have up is a map of where we first started doing our mapping, which was through CAL FIRE or through a program called CalMapper. So when we received the Lafayette Walnut Creek Shaded Fuel Break, we were required to do mapping of where that fuel break was around Lafayette and Walnut Creek. And we have since taken that information and now expanded it to we're doing all the fuel breaks that we're doing through Measure X. We're mapping them throughout the county as well. So when we click on, this is an internal GIS mapping system that we're looking to go live and have it viewable to residents probably by beginning of summer. July 1st at the latest. We're just tweaking some final steps to make sure that all the information is accurate and available now. And we're also going back and uploading the previous data. So we have all the information, or I should say all our fuel breaks mapped to the original standard that CalMapper called out with. If you look at on the left, when you click on it, it'll tell you what's the size, the type, what was the mitigation, when was it done? And what we've added since then is we've added the additional stuff of what is the type of mitigation that was performed, along with how did we dispose of that vegetation once we mitigated it. And the reason is insurance companies reached out to, or have been reaching out to CAL FIRE saying, hey, we want your CalMapper information to provide more of these details so we can include it in our catastrophic models. We recognize the importance of fuel breaks, but we need the full picture in order to assess it correctly. So we've gathered that information and have added it to our mapping along with our Excel spreadsheet that we're uploading into a data set called LandFire. For then insurance companies to go out and grab this information and incorporate it in their fuel modeling. So the importance of that, though, is the other thing that they're going to want to know is what year was it completed, and then when was the last year it was maintained. So we're entering all this information in, we've uploaded it, and I'll share here in just a moment what that sheet looks like that we have uploaded. But every year we're going to have to go back and identify when was the last time it was then maintained, or we'll say touched up. And then we'll be verifying that because we have to upload this list every year in October. So what we uploaded was what we did for last year. We're now going back and uploading our last 2 years because our last 2 years before that we've been doing the mitigation work through Measure X, we have mapped out, but we didn't have in the spreadsheet with all this information. So we're going back through all those work orders, documenting what that information is, and including that. So hit escape here. If I go to this one, this is what the spreadsheet looks like that we upload. So we have to upload two things in LandFire. One, we have to upload the GIS file, which looks very similar to what I just showed, along with the spreadsheet that says what's the work order number, what's the address, what city did it occur in, what type of work was done, the mechanical add, mechanical remove. That means that we did mechanical work. When it says add, it means that we did chip and broadcasting on site. If we removed it, it means that we hauled it off. So if you'll see there, actually that mechanical remove was we did cutting and then we pile burned it. So that's how it was removed. And then we identify what was we have to actually explain what was the type of work we did. Did we lop and scatter it? Did we do low limb cutting? Did we also cut the grass and weeds? We removed 4 dead trees. And we've got to provide a brief description of what was done, along with then what was the date that it was confirmed that this was completed. So this will be the piece that every year we'll be providing that update of when was the last time it was maintained. Because what they've identified is they recognize the importance of a fuel break being put in, but if you never touch it from year after year after year and maintaining it, it's going to lose its value over several years. So they want to know when was the last time it was maintained. As a reminder, whenever we're doing these projects through Measure X, whether it's our hand crew or a contractor, we say that we've gotten you up to where you need to be, and now as a property owner or HOA, it's your responsibility to maintain that fuel break that we created. This is going to be another way for transparency, and that's why we want to make these maps available, that you're going to be able to click on them and see when was it originally done and when was the last time it was maintained. Because in the drop down, you'll see all this information that we're uploading into LandFire annually. That is all I have for my presentation. I just wanted to share that by summer we'll have these maps on our website. We're still working with the other fire departments in the county to make sure they're going to have access to this link so they can share this map on their websites as well. You don't just have to go to ConFire's website for this, since we are doing this work countywide. But providing some transparency that if we've done mitigation works or fuel breaks around your community or in your HOAs, that we will be out checking them before October to see if they've been maintained, to update that spreadsheet as we upload it into LandFire to hopefully help with some of the catastrophic models that the insurance companies are running on around your properties or near your properties.
Thank you very much.
I had one question, and Chief Bachman, thank you for coming to Brentwood and your great presentation. One question I had was, who determines if the area should be cleared versus just ladder fuels removed, grasses cut, and the trees limbed up so far?
So when we're doing the fuel break, we determine what level of mitigation needs to be done to create that fuel break.
Okay.
And then annually, it's really the limbing up and all that's been done. So to maintain that fuel break, it's really just going to be like a grass or a weed abatement. Are you disking it? Are you mowing it? And is that, we'll say, light touch up occurring annually? And we would document that it's been refreshed the following year. Or maybe it's going to keep a 2024 date on it because nobody's touched it since we last created that fuel break. Because we're only uploading the information for the fuel breaks that have been created. We're also working with the fire departments throughout the county to make sure that there's other fuel breaks that are being created around subdivisions that aren't part of Measure X. We're going to document those and get those in the system as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn, then Henry, and then I have a quick question. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Okay. You just answered part of my questions, which is it sounds like you're coordinating and updating data for other fire jurisdictions, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. What is happening in terms of mapping the work that's being done by, say, HOAs or large private property owners? We have lots of ranches in our area, and they are actually very good. I have to say the ranchers are probably better than anybody else in being consistent.
I think that it's, for an insurance company, what we hear them over and over say is they're not concerned about the individual parcel you created a break behind your house. That's up for you to discuss that with underwriting or your agent. But what they are concerned about, or what they do want to make sure that it's getting documented, is those fuel breaks that impact a community. So if a fuel break is getting put in around a community or behind a subdivision, then make sure your fire department's aware of it. And we're working with them of how we're going to get them uploaded into that system. And that's why we want to make sure not only is it in our system, but it's available on everybody's website, every fire district's website, to say, here's the fuel breaks we have documented. They're going to have to answer the questions, kind of as I showed on that spreadsheet. In order to upload them into LandFire, we need that detailed information. What type of work was done? And a lot of these, if it's open land, it's probably disking or mowing.
Right.
But we have to know, what is the exact width? Is it 30 feet? Is it 60 feet? How wide is it? And where does it run from? So we can make that GIS map or that GIS file to include when we upload the spreadsheet, that we also have the polygons in a GIS format that can be uploaded into the mapping system.
So to clarify real quick, it's just around subdivisions, not say evacuation routes.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Henry?
This may have been answered. Does this include Alameda County or just Contra Costa?
We're currently just doing it in Contra Costa. I have met with, I believe it was with the city of Oakland, some GIS staff that work for the city of Oakland to discuss how we set this up and how we did it. And they're working with our staff to see if they can implement something similar. Because
Well, and
I'm
there
tracking
are,
it, so it's
yeah.
it's set up that it can expand. And but you know, I can't be documenting 2 counties. We're going to start with
Right.
our county, but I'll say we're being very transparent and willing to work with our neighboring counties to follow all the work and the format that's been set up, that it would be very easy to implement this in a neighboring county.
And there is already a large fuel break that's still being worked on, the Grizzly Peak strategic fuel break that is behind Berkeley and down into Oakland. So there's a big fuel break there that EBMUD and East Bay Regional Park District and the city, or 2 cities, have all worked on. So that's a big fuel break that ought to be on the map.
Yeah, and I have reached out to East Bay Parks and asked for the mapping of all the fuel breaks they've done in Contra Costa County, so we can make sure we get those uploaded in the map. And again, our kind of timeline deadline is we have to submit by October 1st. So between now and October 1st is when I need to get all this information for the next upload.
Thank you. My quick question, you mentioned fire departments. So are agencies like East Bay Regional Park District, East Bay MUD, Chevron, PG&E, are they already doing this update, or should we ask them to?
They would have to, it's whose fire district, it's still in somebody's fire district. So East Bay Parks, yeah, they're the standalone, but if you're East Bay MUD, PG&E, you're still doing that work in a fire district. So we would need to coordinate with the fire district that work occurred in to discuss where that fuel break was created. Now, when you say PG&E, I don't know, they're actually doing fire breaks. I think they're doing mitigation work around towers.
Right.
Insurance companies are worried about, they want to know, where have you created a fuel break behind houses? Because
Okay.
they know that is valuable, because if the resident is saying, look at the mitigation work that I have done on my property. Here's my home hardening. Here's my mitigation work on my property. This is right behind your property. That's in addition to the work you've done on your property. And that's why, you know, they're not really interested in the single parcels. That can be done on the in the individual level as you're getting assessed through underwriting with your insurance company. We're wanting to make sure this is available as a community type of reduction that's been done where it's serving neighborhoods.
So
So-
growth thinning in the park would not be included, only roadside fuel breaks or fuel breaks backing up large residential areas.
That's where we're starting. And then to see, like, if they want to know more, if it's happening out in the middle of a park or in the middle of an area, I'm open to do that. But the ones I want to target first are the ones that are right behind homes.
Okay.
So
Chief
East Bay Regional
Bachman,
Parks, sorry, go ahead.
This is Chief Haley. I just got out of a call with one of our captains, and he's waiting for one of your captains to respond back to an email. We have mapping available to send, but we haven't been able to get in touch with there's a captain that he said he was supposed to be in contact with. If you could just send me the information, that way I can, or who we're supposed to send it to, because he's in contact with the captain, but he said he hasn't received an email back yet.
Okay. Yeah, and we're still good on time, because we uploaded in October. But I want to get out in front of this, and it would be really ideal if, you know, by summer we can have all those maps, so we can start showing the residents of our county all the work that you guys have done, that we've done, that other fire districts have done. It's going to be great transparency to all the work that is being done throughout our county. And then the value is uploading that into LandFire, but we're willing to, we'll say, deal with that extra workload in our county of tracking the spreadsheet, along with doing all the GIS mapping in our system.
Thank you.
Chief, I'm ready to support that communication as needed. Both Chief Haley and Chief Bachman. Thank you.
Excellent. And Chief Haley just answered my question, and Michelle will be in touch with you to make sure East Bay MUD also reports their grazing. They're doing a good job too. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief Bachman. With that, I would like to ask Henry De Niro from our sister organization, Berkeley Fire Safe Council, to talk about eucalyptus trees in their domain, what they do about it, because they mainly focus on eucalyptus trees, and there have been questions about why we at the West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council don't do it as much as they do. In addition to the lack of funding, we also focus on evacuation routes and evacuation drills and stakeholders collaborations like this forum. But we'll talk about that later after Henry's presentation about they're dealing with their eucalyptus trees.
Okay, thank you, Sahela. And I don't have slides, so I'll just talk. So to put this in context, we are part of one of three elements of a three-part strategy to reduce the probability of an urban conflagration. So we're not talking about evacuation. We're talking about trying to prevent the urban conflagration, which is what we saw in Pacific Palisades and Altadena and Lahaina, where the houses burn the houses, and it just goes until the wind stops. So there are three parts to the strategy. One is defensible space around the homes, primarily emphasizing zone 0. 2 is home hardening around the homes, primarily emphasizing screening vents and gutters or other actions. And the third is fuel reduction, and that is primarily emphasizing hazardous fuel. And within hazardous fuel, primarily, or at least initially, emphasizing the eucalyptus, blue gum eucalyptus specifically, beginning with understory cleanup and then tree removal. And the tree removal is followed by restoration, because you can't cut down 80 ukes on 10 contiguous private lots or anywhere else on a hillside without planting something and restoring that hillside to a fire-resistant, non-hazardous, non-invasive state. So we're part of that strategy. The city is primarily focused on 1 and 2, implementing defensible space, zone 0 regulations, and encouraging home hardening. We're primarily focused on fuel reduction, and we've been spending most of our time on the eucalyptus understory cleanup and now tree removal. We've cleaned up most of the groves in the city, about over 100 tons of hazardous fuel on the ground and in the understory over 5 years, and we've now removed 225 eucalyptus trees. Other private landowners have removed about 225 eucalyptus trees, so let's say 450. There are 750 that remain on private property. So we've made a big dent in the total population of ukes within the city, and we've cleaned up the groves, which is big because a fire on the ground can't climb into the canopy. So that's kind of where we fit in. The large landowners have been removing a lot of ukes in recent years. EBMUD, East Bay Regional Park District, UC Berkeley, Berkeley Lab, and to some extent the city of Berkeley, although it does not have as many ukes on its property as the other large landowners. The East Bay Regional Park District is removing probably several thousand eucalyptus trees in a grove understory cleanup and grove thinning exercise that's going on as we speak. The other large landowners have removed significant numbers of eucalyptus trees and are doing it as we speak. Again, particularly UC Berkeley, that's removing over 1,000 trees. That work is still in process. So our part is, relatively small compared to the large landowners, but we have now begun removing trees. Before SB 131, we relied on private funding. We got a grant from PG&E 3 years ago, and we've raised money from citizens, from property owners. That's the money we raised to remove the 225 trees we've removed so far, about $450,000 to remove those trees. With SB 131, we now have the opportunity to use public money to remove trees without doing a formal environmental impact report. That's what SB 131 allows us to do if the granting agency has filed a notice of exemption under SB 131. The city has done this. They filed the exemption. The city can now push money to the Berkeley Fire Safe Council, and we can remove eucalyptus trees with the city's money without doing an EIR. We just use their exemption. If we get money from CAL FIRE, we applied and did not get money from CAL FIRE, but if we were to get money from CAL FIRE to remove trees, then CAL FIRE would have to file a notice of exemption, and we could remove eucalyptus trees without doing an EIR. So this has to be done funder by funder, property by property, or area by area, but we're now at a mode where both private and public funds can be used by both private and public agencies to reduce hazardous fuel, including the tree removal. And most recently, and I'll end with this, the city of Berkeley has modified its existing grant from CAL FIRE, which is a residential assistance program for low-income, elderly, and handicapped residents in the very high severity fire zone. So it's only in a specific area. That program has been modified now to be provided without a cap. There's no cost sharing, and it includes the removal of hazardous trees. So a property owner who qualifies, who might have 5 eucalyptus trees on their property, the city is now prepared to go in and remove those trees as using funds from this CAL FIRE grant that they have. So these activities are being stepped up considerably to remove the hazardous fuel. So that's basically. I skipped over restoration with one word. It's extremely important. We've done 2 restoration projects where we've removed eucalyptus trees. And there are several sites where the large landowners have removed a lot of trees where they should be doing restorations and have yet to do them. So I think that's another big issue that needs to follow this process as we remove more and more of these hazardous trees. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Henry. I appreciate it. Any questions for Henry? Though the main question remains, how come you guys get so much funding and resources, and we in West Contra Costa County actually don't see much of that from any of the, neither from Caltrans, not from PG&E, not from, hopefully we can collaborate in the future. You can teach us.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be clear, we did get a $300,000 grant from PG&E 3 years ago, and then we applied again and got nothing in the next year. And we've raised 100,000 of our own money, and we've gotten about 100,000 from the city, but we have not used that to remove trees yet. That was prior to SB 131. So we have raised limited funds. We've applied for other grants and have not yet received them. So this is an early process. I would encourage everybody to look at ways to do something like this.
Okay, thank you. Allison, a quick question followed by Kathy's question.
I wanted to comment first, Sohaila. Marilyn actually had mentioned to me a long time ago that Rossmore area got a large portion of the grant money, and it was because they asked. We have to start asking. But yeah, I wanted to know more about the restoration process. There are 2 areas that you mentioned, and then also what the process is or how much you restore. Is it the understory as well as trees, or what is it comprised of?
So in 2 sites on a hillside, we're on private property where we've removed all or most of the eucalyptus trees. We've done restorations in partnership with the UC Berkeley Department of Environmental Science, Policy, and Management. And these are small sites, 2-acre, 3-acre sites. And these are residential areas in the Berkeley Hills. And we've put in temporary irrigation. We've put in a surface erosion control, netting, and other mitigation features. And then we've planted a variety of non-invasive fire-resistant trees, primarily live oak and buckeye, some redwood. And now we're planting shrubs and grasses. And what we've learned is you got to do a lot of maintenance because the invasive weeds, when you clear a eucalyptus grove or part of a eucalyptus grove, it exposes the land to the sun, and then all the invasive weed spores come up. And you really have to maintain them. You have to keep pulling this stuff up. And then as you do that, the native species can take hold. We've had pretty good success. These sites are clearly visible in the Berkeley Hills. I could send information on where they're located.
Thank you, Henry. At some point, I hope we can come up with some common restoration plans for the region. Kathy, a quick question, please.
So I wonder what can be done to get East Bay Regional Park District to remove eucalyptus from Alvarado Park and the surrounding area. Like, it's just an enormous forest of eucalyptus. I see they thin and then they often let them grow back, but I don't really see a lot of, and they've got it, you know, stripped behind the houses, but overall we've got a gigantic forest of eucalyptus in Alvarado Park and Wildcat Canyon, and I don't see it retracting.
I can't answer that question.
Not you, but I mean, is there anybody here from the Park District that can respond to
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is Kari, Assistant Fire Chief, East Bay Regional Park District Fire Department. We've done a lot of work in Wildcat Canyon. We just did work in 2025 in Wildcat Canyon. We have an EIR, which regulates how we do our work. And part of that is thinning. We cannot clear cut. We cannot remove all eucalyptus. That would be against our EIR. So what we do is we do thinning work. So if you do have a catastrophic wildfire, the goal is that that fire will stay below 6 feet, which is a flame length that is something that as firefighters we can mitigate. And so that's the goal. It's not to remove all the eucalyptus. We are a resource management agency, which means we have multiple objectives. It's not just gills mitigation. It's also enhancing the resources that are on our land. And so our work is complicated, has competing objectives. And so because of that, we have to do work so that things stay in balance. And if we were to quote unquote remove all the eucalyptus, we would be introducing another issue, which would be brush, which would be not the issue that you're trying to mitigate. And so we do thinning, and we spend millions of dollars of thinning work each year.
Thank you, Chief Healy. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Henry. And we need to talk in the future a little more about restoration. I understand there may be more questions for Henry or Chief Healy, but at this point, because we want to finish at 1 and we have 2 more important items, I'm gonna go over them. If there is remaining time, we can go back to questions, and you can always ask questions by emails. I'm glad to say that all our advisory board agencies are very collaborative and very communicative, and will answer the questions. Because the time that is remaining very short, I'm going to combine the remaining 2 items about fuel reduction and clearing evacuation routes in light of the upcoming evacuation drill in 94803 area. And if we have representatives from Public Works in the city of Richmond and also the county, I would like him to please present their plans, if there are any, for clearing evacuation routes, fuel reduction and vegetation management along evacuation routes. Anyone from Public Works, city or county, please.
Hey, so yeah, this is Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
How you doing? So I'll follow up on some of the evac routes we've been coordinating the past couple of years. I'm focusing on San Pablo Dam Road specifically, and we've done almost 4 weeks of vegetation management there, clearing the undergrowth, skirting up the trees, and trimming everything back off the road right-of-way edge. We've also started to work on Pinole now recently, and we should be focusing another 2.5 weeks there. So that evac route will be addressed. And then also you had brought up specifically Castro Ranch, sections of Castro Ranch Road, and was it?
San Pablo Dam Road, Castro Ranch Road, Pinole Valley Road are 3 main corridors that are of concern, great concern.
Correct. And then some road issues, I guess, on Castro Ranch also that we're going to be addressing.
Sinkholes too, that would close one evacuation lane. It happened in 23. It's not going to be fixed until 27.
Yeah. So, I mean, in regards to Castro Ranch, that's something we're going to be able to focus on now. So we've marked that out, and we're just waiting for the utilities to mark out what's over there. And then we're going to address that issue regarding San Pablo, the slide at La Honda. That's going to take a little bit of more time because we got to deal with the CEQA and environmental with that aspect. But we're going to be continuing tree trimming and vegetation management in those areas. So we'll be coordinating with you regularly and updating you as we make progress.
Thank you. So I have a specific question about eucalyptus trees along San Pablo Dam Road. They're actually eucalyptus groves, and we've been exchanging emails. Any specific plans or timelines regarding those?
So we're not going to be removing those eucalyptus trees because kind of like the other agencies, we have a regulatory permit that we need to abide by. So what we can do is clean up the undergrowth, make sure it's skirted up, make sure it's off the road right away, make sure it allows for evac routes so that vehicles can drive through those areas without having to worry about that.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone from the city of Richmond, Public Works here, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Jason Lacey, Parks and Landscape Superintendent. Excuse me. So I would like to share, as far as our veg management plan for this year, we were able to procure a new green climber, LV 600, which we'll be incorporating in our veg management this year, which is going to allow us to be a lot more efficient. And then also the work that we're cutting, we're going to leave a lot less debris behind. So we're very excited about incorporating that. For the fire evacuation routes, we have onboarded a new supervisor who's an arborist. He's going through the corridors and he's looking for our 14-foot roadway vertical clearance, 10-foot on the shoulder, and then 10-foot off of back of road. So we're going through and providing assessments now. And clearing the obvious gross offenders and looking at anything that will be encroaching anytime soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Kathy, I see your hand is up. Do you have a burning question, please? We have 2-3 minutes left. Go ahead. You're muted. Unmute, please.
Thank you. I do have a burning question. So I just don't understand the response from Chief Haley about the difficulty of removing eucalyptus when it's happening in Oakland and it's happening on EBMUD land and it's happening, in Berkeley. And I just saw this enormous project at Anthony Chabot where like 600 or something eucalyptus were removed, and carbonator was there, and the district is restoring those areas. So I don't understand why, when I look at the fire map and I see the largest red circle is right here where I live around Alvarado Park, that it's such a problem to actually remove the eucalyptus.
Is that a statement, or you want me to respond?
If you feel like it, Chief Healy, because this is not your presentation time, only out of courtesy. If you feel like it, please go ahead.
Yeah, all those projects are our projects. Literally within the last 10 years, we've invested $65 million in fields work. We spent just last year alone $10 million in field work on various areas, and some of those areas are the projects that you mentioned. We analyze our work district-wide, which is 2 counties, so it's not just your neighborhood. We have neighborhoods in Alameda and Contra Costa County. We're the largest park district in the United States. So the work that you see going on is based off the highest prioritized areas. We seek funding. 70% of our funding came from grant funding for those areas. And so the first task was we analyzed our largest areas, because we weren't just dealing with eucalyptus trees. We were dealing with tree die-off, where thousands of trees were dying off because of climate change. Once we figured out the highest priority areas, we seeked funding. Like I said, we received millions of dollars in funding. Once we seek the funding, then we put our plan to work, which has been going on since 2020. Literally just last year, we did work in Wildcat Canyon. I don't know if it was directly behind your house, but that community was benefited from the work that we did. And I get that you would love to see us behind your house. We'd love to be behind everybody's homes, but our work, we try to spread it as well as we can. And we have a pretty comprehensive plan and a team of people who analyze the area that need to get done. And we are pretty successful with the work we've accomplished, the work that we've completed. I'm very proud that we're the people that actually have that land, because I feel very confident in our ability to accomplish the tasks that we've already done and the tasks that we will continue to complete.
Thank you very much, Chief Healy. And I should add that East Bay Regional Park District is one of our best neighbors in the area, with very clear and transparent communication about the work they do, and it's always appreciated. I just wanted to say that before closing the meeting, because it's 1 o'clock, we respect your time and we finish on time. For the next meeting, which is in early May, we try to focus on the issues related to evacuation drill. Maybe we'll focus on community warning system, on specific issues related to evacuation routes and everything. And I'm very sorry we couldn't answer all the questions. Please send me emails and I'll pass them to the related agencies, or feel free to contact them directly. Thank you very much for your time, everyone, today. I really appreciate it, and the community does too. Until our next meeting in May, we'll stay in touch online. Have a good day.